The long-submerged evil stirs beneath the shrine of the storm. The whispers that drove Lord Stormsong to madness echo within the depths. A siren song of eldritch power. Those who listen and obey prepare dark rituals to carry out their master's will. Whatever nightmarish schemes fuel their fanatical devotion, one thing is certain. They must be stopped. So let's look at the fucking art in here. First of all, welcome to the cultist lair. So this is some eldritch shit, right? Kraken face god of the deep.
The scent of mortal filth defiles this chamber.
So they don't like mortals.
They are insolent, unworthy of his gift.
Yeah.
He has awakened, and they shall slumber in his stead.
Very interesting wording.
Let their flesh become
They shall slumber instead.
atonement.
So I want to talk just briefly about the concept of death versus sleep. If N'Zoth is in Ny'alotha and is sleeping or whatever, and he's been awakened, and then our defeat would leave us asleep as well, then doesn't that imply that us dying is the same thing as us like sleeping? So Ny'alotha being a city of old, terrible, unnumbered crimes, a sleeping city, there's nothing but sleep and dreaming. Doesn't that imply that Ny'alotha is like an afterlife? Like where they go when they die? I mean, Il'gynoth says that when you kill him. N'Zoth, I journey to Ny'alotha. Why? They clearly don't like us very much. They think of the mortal flesh as like low-born races, which is a very interesting kind of like thing to consider if we're led to believe that we got our flesh from Yogg-Saron, who is, even if temporarily, an ally with N'Zoth. And it was kind of made to sound like the curse of flesh is something that kind of all the old gods maybe kind of have, but it's only ever really expressed through Yogg-Saron directly, which is, I think, kind of strange. If we go over here, we have a four-eyed god of the deep with what appears to be, it almost reminds me of like an Ankh. Is that what they're called? Like an Egyptian Ankh or something? Or a key? That also has an eye on it. Now, this could just be me stretching my imagination, but I think Xal'atath is... well, how do I put this? I think Xal'atath is the fifth old god, personally. And I think that when you... well, the thing is about Cthulhu, who I think inspires Xal'atath in many ways from Lovecraftian mythos, is that she has 6 eyes. This thing has 4 and then a 5th up on this thing, which could mean nothing at all. I could just be overthinking it, because N'Zoth has more than 4 eyes. Like, this isn't, even though this is all connected with N'Zoth, the imagery that they use for it is not exactly, doesn't exactly look like N'Zoth. So I just sometimes think, you know, maybe similar to the art that we got from Chronicle that shows like the big Twilight's hammer sigil thing going down like through Cthulhu with Sargeras' sword and all that stuff. And I don't know, sometimes imagery just kind of reminds me of other imagery. And so this just kind of reminds me of that a little bit. A big sword that was stuck in the ground that had like an eye in its hilt, or maybe it refers to like Xal'atath, which is also a blade that has an eye on it, you know? That is like linked to this entire raid series. So I don't know. That's just kind of where my mind goes when I see these types of banners. I'm like, you know, who does this represent? Is it just, you know, a Kraken? Is it meant to illustrate something else, you know? So that's kind of where my mind goes when I get into these kinds of places. Tired of your old fit? Look no further than today's sponsor, Into the AM. Into the AM sent me a few of their items, and I'm not joking. I wear them more than anything else I own. You can see it on my stream all the time. The shirts and joggers that I was sent are comfortable, stylish, and fit me really well. I can't express how much nicer things like the joggers they sent are than the ones that I used to wear. Into the AM has well-printed logos that actually last through machine washing, so they're not just going to be degrading and falling apart after the first few washes, and soft, comfortable fabrics for all of their apparel. There's tons of designs available for their popular graphic tees, including this Thor-themed shirt that I'm wearing. So you'll be sure to find something that fits your personality. Click on the link below to support the channel and save 10% on your order. Make sure to leave a comment letting me know which design is your favorite. Big thanks to Into the AM for sponsoring today's video. Etruvius the Vassal, so that's not great. He's obviously got a mind flayer connected to his head, mind controlling him. It's almost like an arrow pointing upward in a way, like the god of the deep will rise, perhaps. Like raising up out of the ocean. It's very Cthulhu-esque in that regard. I mean, look, there has never been in World of Warcraft something quite as Lovecraftian and Cthulhu-inspired as Stormsong Valley. This place, the raids in it, the dungeons in it, is literally ripped straight from Lovecraft. Between really all the Alliance zones have it baked in, but Stormsong most of all, it is the purest expression of Lovecraftian stuff. We've got references to fucking Haunter in the Dark. We've got references from the fucking, what is it, the Color Out of Space. We've got references to the deep ones in the Shadow over Innsmouth. We've got references to fucking everything. And it's pretty awesome, dude. It's pretty awesome. Lovecraft is kind of an asshole, but you know, the themes are pretty cool. Into this huge chamber. So here we're going into the Crucible of Storms from a different entrance. So if you guys remember, I believe it was last time we came in here, we came in from over there as a result of pursuing Lord Stormsong, entering through the main temple entrance, and then finding our way through here. If I'm not mistaken, when we did that, we actually also swam over a portion of water that is now blocked off, of course, but I believe it had like tentacles, tentacle-looking things down beneath it. Now, in here, this could very well, I mean, think about it. A trident, a stone, and a crown. This is very much Xal'atath. I feel like this ties in thematically very well with that concept of Xal'atath doing Karsus folly. And Talus says, if I'm not mistaken, Zal gives those 3 items to N'Zoth in the pre-quest. The Void Stone, which has very interesting runes on it. They almost look blue. They almost look kind of arcane, but whatever. Not gonna go too far into that. We got the Trident over there. And the Tempest Caller, which is clearly lightning imbued and stuff. This guy also, the power of storms being at their command is very interesting to me. And then, of course, you have the large, old god-eyed kind of maw on the ground. We've seen similar things to this in, like, the Dragon Soul raid, for instance. Large, old god-like maws that are down in the ground. It's kind of hard to determine exactly what they are or what they're for, but it's depicted here. Kind of like the Abyssal Maw, perhaps. So this is the Restless Cabal. Called from the depths to retrieve 3 relics of ancient power, the Restless Cabal is bound to serve N'Zoth and attend to his will. Xaxis speaks of promises and power, while Fathul crushes their opposition with brute force. And Thul obviously makes me think Amun Thul. I can't help it, but it's the way that it is. Storm and water, basically Golganeth. Yeah, kind of what I'm thinking here. Interesting how we have some similarities displayed in power. Well, let's fight these guys. What do you say? It won't, like I said, it's not a very long lore tour. Actually, hold on. Hold on. Let me look these up, and let me see if I can read you the lore on them. The Void Stone is obtained after defeating Inanis at Falcon's Rest in Drusvar. The Void Stone is being held over this, well, what appears to me to be a chromatic, magical insignia. It's got every color. I mean, it's got every color on that bitch. A smooth stone filled with a swirling cloud of void that constantly shifts, drawing your eyes to try to focus and discern the horrifying images within. You feel a sense of unease holding the stone. This is the stone we're looking at here. So this is an objective of Twist the Knife, where you have to get the Trident of the Deep, Tempest Caller. It says here with the Trident of the Deep, it says here, if you hold this up to your ear, you can hear the ocean. I would like to also remind people of the Ulduar stained glass art, where there is a guy holding a trident. and how this could possibly relate to the old gods, or maybe earlier deities on Azeroth that maybe we're not so familiar with. He's also wearing a crown as well, which could mean nothing. There's also these stained glass art things made by I think some WoW artist, but we'll have to look at those another time. They're very interesting. Looks kind of like young Amenthul, perhaps. Here's the 9 divines. That's pretty cool. So anyway, we go back to this here. Tempest Caller. It's the crown. You can feel potential energy pulsing within the crown. Potential energy. Interesting. Comes from Toatana in Zultoa in Vol'dun. So you have to kill this Toatana void corrupted, it seems, crab thing. Maybe it's got lightning powers. Maybe that's why it looks like that, because it has the crown. You think young Amenthul was called a boy Thul? I hate you. Instead of a man Thul? You're so funny. Okay, so this is what Zal says. Meet Xal'atath at the precipice of oblivion. Go in the Crucible, we place the things, the relics are ours as it was meant to be. There is but one more step needed for the great truths to be revealed. The Naga sought to summon their storm from a place that echoes with ancient power. Though this site has had countless names over the ages, you mortals know it as the precipice of oblivion. I will go on ahead and begin preparations. Join me there. A stone to call forth the darkness. A weapon forged in the depths, a crown for the ruler of all worlds. Interesting. Hear me, God of the Deep, I brought you the opener, the bringer of truth, the torch that lights the way. We'll see all that. Now that we've learned a little bit more about those relics, now we can fight these guys.
Embrace the Master's truth.
Aphotic Blast.
Kneel in the shadow of his glory.
Aphotic. Interesting word.
Tremble before his hunger, his darkness. Your pathetic existence will be washed away.
The Void Stone pulls you in.
Your screams will echo.
You get crushing doubt.
Of his endless strength.
Tempest Caller is on now.
The end of your pitiful defiance.
Your screams will echo through his halls. Behold the end of your pitiful defiance. Oh, that guy's mind control. Oh, no, he's not.
Will be washed away.
Apothic without light.
Will echo through his halls. Unworthy.
We might have to lust and burn. Their dreams are ended. Their dreams are ended. Such interesting dialogue. This guy's basically an Ascian. Pretty much. And N'Zoth is like Zodiark. Alright, let's lust and burn these motherfuckers. Where's my fucking cursor, bro?
Your pathetic existence will be washed.
I just also shot all my chaos bolts at the one that I had fucking havoc on.
Echo, all will be consumed.
Witness the end.
Your screams will echo, all will be consumed. Your screams will echo through. Victory will yet be ours.
Kill this motherfucker! Nice.
Will be yet claim you.
Interesting, that animation, because it actually reminds me of the top of N'Zoth's head.
Your terror will be unending.
Tendril of corruption. So we just fell into this massive pit in the fucking ground. Not a good look. Anyone wear leather? Can you wear leather? Void stone. Here we got them again. Tried into the deep ocean. And we land on some large corpse. Something very large with interesting markings in its bones. Dracs are all male. I've seen female Drakthir. Gross. What the fuck? Gross, dude. Ew. Thanks for the Path of Frost. Alright, let's keep moving. Reminds me of the Sarlacc stomach acid, saliva. Very fleshy, organic. But even the old gods kind of act like our flesh is like there's something wrong with it. It's very interesting. Like our flesh isn't good enough. Like we have the gift. I'm just a little confused. Eternal Guardian. That reminds me of what Yasharaj says through Zalato. Zalato, desecrated image of Gorehowl. It says, well, it kind of reminds me of it. He says, well, he says, gorge your hatred. Carve more slowly that I may feed. Interesting. Ugh. Ugh. Void Ichor. Feed on the dying, but not the dead. They who dine on lost souls know only hunger. Maybe just eating all the dead souls wouldn't do anything to satiate the void at all. Ew, gross. We're getting N'Zoth eyes on this shit now. It's so weird, like the cracks in the flesh. It's so fucking weird. We got some void priests in here. And a big fucking eyeball over there. Fuck it. Interesting.
These slowly mortals desecrate your shrine, master. Let us drown them and wash away their defiance.
So this is clearly a major place of worship. Always has been.
Patience. They may yet prove worthy of my gift. I will taste their dreams, their flesh.
Through like flesh sacrifice? Do they give you visions? I mean, that's what happened with Ogmont, right?
Serve, or they will die.
You give like a flesh sacrifice and you get visions. Tasting our flesh allows him maybe to kind of see our destiny. Also interesting ceiling. Really reminds me of like the thorns and roots of the Emerald Nightmare. And kind of like a... It almost reminds me of... I don't know what kind of weird body part What are these? Kidneys? Looks like what I imagine is cancer. There are roots, Monka W. What's the mechanic for the crown? Well, let's read Unat, Harbinger of the Void. When she struck her bargain with N'Zoth 10,000 years ago, Queen Ashara offered one of her most devoted followers to the old god's service. Now, Unat and the crawling masses he commands herald the coming of their master, as foretold by the stars. Which, like, the stars are the Titans, in my mind, so that's a very interesting wording. It's so fucking weird. So through this massive sacrificial fucking worship temple, N'Zoth can see with this eye and express its desires or whatever and speak to Unat. It's such a weird fucking thing. And where is this? This is in Stormsong Valley. Just Kol Tiras. It's sort of close to where N'Zoth was allegedly supposed to have been, according to Chronicle anyway. In this area. Very interesting how we see kind of like extensions of their flesh and or bodies. And if this is an extension of his body, well, maybe that's not such a good look right there. Maybe it's not a good thing. Interesting that Unat was known as the Harbinger before Xal'atath, right. Harbinger of the Void specifically. I love how N'Zoth is all about being obscure and casting projections, illusions. He knows he can't rely on outright might. He's like the embodiment of a lot of Sun Tzu quotes about warfare, being all about deception and lies.
6 seats at the high table, 6 mouths that hunger, 1 will consume all others.
Well, I know how people think about that quote, but it does make me think of the Titans, especially at the time, given the information of what we had. There are 6 Titans as members of the Pantheon, and I'm afraid that one of them can consume the others. Her name's Aenar the Lifebiter. So, maybe we'll get some more quotes. Maybe I should read through them all. Let me read through them all. Unat, Harbinger of the Void. So, for those who don't know, Steve Denuzer wrote all these quotes right here from N'Zoth. So some of the other ones say, 6 seats at the high table, 6 mouths that hunger. 1 will consume all others. And people would, again, naturally attribute this to the cosmic forces. She is not the last, but the first. Drown her and you will see. Now this, I think, is talking about Azeroth. She's not the last Titan, but the first. Drown her and you will see this. The veil wanes, his crown will open the way is a clear allusion to the crown of domination and it opening the way to the Shadowlands. I alone can save you from what is to come. And this links us to the jailer. Which is ironic as fuck because we know that the jailer's final quote is, "A cosmos divided will not survive what is to come." So it's funny that they say that this prophecy that N'Zoth is talking about is actually talking about Zoval when Zoval himself is talking about something else too. That there is something greater even to come. Something that we will not survive.
When the arrow finds its mark, the last fetter will fall away.
When the arrow finds its mark, the last fetter, which is a chain. So the arrow finding its mark, this could be an allusion to us going to the Eternal Palace, breaking that last chain, the breaker of chains. The arrow finding its mark, maybe an allusion to Sylvanas. I think about her as the Ranger General, the arrow, I don't know, kind of what I think about that. We also have, I alone can save you from what is to come, which I was just talking about. Again, I think that's referring to the Titans primarily. Maybe. It grows hungrier, bolder. Alas, your eyes are closed. That's a very interesting one. One of my favorite ones. It grows hungrier, bolder. Maybe talking about the void? Or maybe death? hungering and acting more boldly as a result.
The fall of night reveals her true face. She will bring only ruin.
I'm pretty sure that's talking about Elune, personally. The fall of night revealing her true face. I mean, I'm thinking about midnight. I'm thinking about the bad things that are probably gonna happen in midnight. It's not a good look. But, you know, thinking about, just Elune in general. Just some thoughts. She will bring only ruin. Fall of night reveals her true face. Very interesting, some of these quotes, dude. There's also the blind queen wields a scepter of bone from the deep. She calls forth doom, but that's completely separate from a different set of whispers. The light has struck a bargain with the enemy of all. That's an interesting one. Because the void whispering in Illyria's head tells her that Sylvanas serves the true enemy, which would be death. She seeks the death of all things, of all possibilities. So the enemy of all, that's a great question. I guess part of my brain immediately goes to, like, the enemy of all. I mean, I feel like everything is kind of like trying to stave off death in its own different kind of way. So light striking a bargain with death would be interesting, especially depending on how you define the light, how you understand that, how you perceive that. He gave himself to the deep places. He gave himself to me. That seems like an allusion to Deathwing. Deep places also is something that Iridicron toils in as well. Voidstone, with every choice you become more my servant. At last embrace the truth of shadow. Yes, draw closer, ever closer. Ah, you think you know power. The storm holds strength, but there's a price to be paid. Harness your fury, make your hatred a weapon. Trident of the deep ocean children, the depths are my domain. Let the tides draw you into my dream. Deeper, ever deeper. I love these quotes, dude. Pay the price for your defiance, bow before your true master. His eyes behold every truth, every unnumbered crime. Which, more references to Nyalotha. Gift of N'Zoth, all glory to the master. His wrath has awakened, taste his true power. His devoted outnumber the sands, the stars. Interesting. N'Zoth says, obey, kneel, wither. His gaze falls upon every path, every dream given form. Aid your faithful servant, O mighty N'Zoth. Master, they are worthy. All shall be awakened. Alright. Let's fight this shit. There's just bloodlust on this thing, obviously.
Pay the price for your defiance. His eyes behold every truth, every unnumbered crime. His devoted outnumber the sands, the stars.
Water, lightning, shadow.
His gaze falls upon every path, every dream given form.
And this guy's interesting. He's in Void Shield now. He looks a hell of a lot like Ashara, obviously in his form. So compared to your standard Naga, these guys are a little bit empowered, it would seem. A little bit of a different level. It's also got the same color scheme as that Siren that I was looking at in the Battle of Dazar Lore.
Faithful servant, almighty N'Zoth. Master, they are worthy.
Lurker's insidious gift.
Yes, you are indeed the ones I seek. The ones to turn the tide.
Huh. He's got more, right? I was reading more on the website.
Receive now the greatest of all gifts. My dream has become your own. The circle of stars made flesh.
Very interesting quotes, man.
She will show you the way. Come, come. The hour approaches when all eyes shall be open.
The hour approaches, like the hour of twilight. She will show you the way, obviously Xalatath. Xalatath is bringing about the hour of twilight. I mean...
He grows hungrier, bolder. Alas, your eyes are closed.
And how this all led into Shadowlands, too. They were obviously thinking about it. So I'm going to go ahead and assume that that quote, it growing hungrier, bolder, I feel like that's got to be talking about, like, the maw, about death. Maybe I'm wrong. Many of the quotes from the encounter contain callbacks to past quotes associated with the Old Gods in the Void, correct. His gaze sees all, every truth, every unnumbered crime, and his gaze falls upon every path, every dream given form, are a reference to the Locust Walker's speech in 1,000 Years of War, where he says that the Void seeks every possible path and sees them all as truth. The phrase, every unnumbered crime, is a reference to the puzzle box of Yogg-Saron quote, Nyalotha is a city of old, terrible, unnumbered crimes. His faithful outnumber the sands, the stars, is similar to the harbinger Skyrus. We span the universe, as countless as the stars. We will find others to open the way, is a reference to Il'gynoth's 5 keys to open our way, 5 torches to light our path. The Circle of Stars was also first mentioned by Il'gynoth to find him. Found yourself in the Circle of Stars. And this is all written by Steve Denuser. Yeah, the Nightmare Thorn Vine things are very fucking strange, dude. I'm sure this means something, I just don't think I understand what it is. They almost look like they have veins and shit on them. Like, what are they? Is twilight both either dusk and or dawn? So during the time of dusk and dawn is where the light and darkness meet and create the twilight bridge, which is what Elune and Anshe walk on to take their station during day or night. So, we'll end up seeing that, I'm sure. Have the old gods ever lied? I mean, that's a very broad question. Is something that someone believes to be true, but not true, is that a lie? We have to get into the semantics of lying, which is not a conversation I typically enjoy. The runes on his weapon are just more Black Empire runes, right? They're actually really similar to cuneiform. Ancient language. But I don't know if it's a reused model or what. It could be, it might not be, I don't know. The roof looks like stomach cells. Could be. Is that a tumor growth that's grown out of control? I don't know what it is. Or an egg chamber? To me, they don't necessarily look like healthy growths. But I don't know. They almost look like stones or something. It's gonna sound gross, but they kind of look like testicles, chat. I'm just gonna say it, all right? Oddly shaped ones, but that's what they look like. I'm looking at mine, they do not look like that. Are you fucking kidding me? All right, this lore tour is over. Thank you guys for coming. I appreciate it.